Welcome to the Inner Circle Mastermind for February 12th, 2020. Glad to have everyone on with us and welcome everyone that's listening to the replay line. In fact, I think the last time, Sheldon, you were on, I was sitting in the back of a bus at a basketball game. And if you can see me now, if your video's on, I'm sitting in our team van at a coaches meeting. So yeah, I get the opportunity to do this from all over the country. But yeah, welcome. Glad to have everyone on. Really enjoyed the last few Inner Circle Masterminds we've had. They just seem to be getting better and better every week. Enjoy that everyone's contributing, plus getting on Facebook afterwards and continuing some of those conversations. Any of you that haven't been in the Facebook group or aren't active on there, I encourage you to get on there and read some of the conversations that are going on. And I did put one post on there just to give everyone the opportunity to kind of introduce themselves, but also do a little self-promotion, talk about your business, what you do, and some self-promotion. Because like I said in our last call, is I think one of the nice advantages of having a group like this is we're all from different industries, different backgrounds, and we can really help each other out in a lot of ways. But there's probably also a lot of ways that we can either work with each other or send each other referrals and help build one another's businesses. So if you get an opportunity, get in there, read what's going on, and leave some information about yourself. Leave a link to your website if you've got it, or just whatever you can that everyone can help support one another. So just before we open up, as I said, I'm in Florence, Arizona. Anyone that doesn't know where Florence, Arizona is, if you end up in federal prison, you'll probably end up in Florence, Arizona. Actually, so yeah, when Bruce gets on, he'll know where Florence, Arizona is because he deals with them. But anyways, we played basketball out here last night and we won, so that's a good thing. And we're going to be back here tomorrow night, but tonight it's the coaches. So I came an hour early so that I could do the call from here. And so hopefully I don't have any coaches knocking on the windows here wondering what I'm doing. But on the way out here, actually, I was listening to a Brendan Bouchard podcast, and he said a few things that got me thinking about posts that I had written a long time ago. And so when I got here, I actually looked it up. And afterwards, if anyone wants to look at the post, they can go to jeffhagee.com and search Zig, Z-I-G, as in Zig Ziglar. And it's actually from, I believe it was from 2013. And what it was about is kind of prioritizing things and how to be more productive. And just to give you a brief summary of the post, is it was when I was living in Canada, my oldest daughter that's graduated now, she was having a really stressful evening, and we asked her, what's going on? And she had a whole bunch of stuff on her plate. She had a French test coming up. She had a bunch of assignments. She had basketball that she was worrying about. She had to do an essay on a recent trip that we had made to Africa. And she was also in a piano recital, and she had to do a presentation at the Rotary Club about our trip to Africa, where we adopted our son. And she was just stressed to the nines and kind of just spinning her wheels and not getting anything done. And so my wife Tamara and myself, we sat down and had a talk to her, and we had her list out all that she had to get done. We had her list out what the number one priorities were. We had her look at them and decide, okay, with these items, who can help me with these items? And we went through that process, and it reminded me of something I had read from Zig Ziglar. And I don't know if he called it this, or it's just the name that I adopted for it, but it was the day before vacation philosophy. And if you think about it, when you have a vacation planned, the day before, or maybe even the couple days before, it's usually your most productive time at work because you're more focused, you do make lists of what you need to accomplish before you go, and you get really focused on the most important tasks that need to be done, and you get them done because you know you're going to be away for however long, and you kind of make it, this is what has to get done. And it also prioritizes things that, when fires happen or someone interrupts you, you're not so easily distracted because you are putting more focus on those things that you have to get done, because the next day you're going to be gone for however long. And what he taught in that lesson was, if we can do those same things on a regular basis, on a daily basis, weekly basis, and have the same sort of discipline and same sort of things happening in our lives, from our businesses to our personal lives, where we put that focus and discipline in place, we will be so much more productive. I know when we're going on a vacation, my wife will make her task list, I'll make my task list, and we prioritize them just like we had sat down and asked Tia to do. And it really does make you a lot more productive. So just wanted to get anyone's thoughts on, what are your productivity hacks, or what are you doing on a daily basis that helps you be more productive and make sure you get through things? Because especially if you're in a business, Liz, you can talk about this for sure, because you work in a business where you do a lot of social media and you promote your business on social media, and just being on social media on a regular basis can really, all of a sudden you find yourself scrolling for half an hour and think, where did that last half hour go? So just, if anyone has any comments or feedback, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Heidi.
No, you go ahead, Liz.
For me, it's definitely, that is such a good point, Jeff, because if I don't stay focused, I could turn what should have taken me 10 minutes into an hour without even knowing. And it's not even scrolling that I find that I'm doing. I find that I just kind of go down a rabbit hole. So it's really good to interact with people on social media more outside of just talking about the business, right? And so, because it is a social area, and you have to learn how to interact with people as if they were standing right in front of you. But if you don't set timers, or if you don't have this list that says, okay, for 10 minutes, I'm going to just interact with people on their social media posts. For the next 10 minutes, I'm going to personally message this many people. And then I'm only going to spend 15 minutes putting my own content out there. But I could easily spend 2 hours just talking to people online, and then, which is okay, but I could have used that time to actually do something else that will bring in revenue rather than just that aspect. So
right, thank you. Thanks, Liz. Did you have something you were going to add in there, Heather?
Heidi.
Heidi, sorry.
I'm just going to change my name to Heather. I don't know. I get called that frequently. No, I was just going to say, what I do is I put everything I need to get done that day on my Outlook calendar, like first thing in the morning. And then if somebody books an appointment, and I can kind of like move things around that for the most part. But I try to get everything that I have to get done first thing in the morning. And because otherwise it just keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and then it ends up on the next day.
Right. And that's going back to what we were talking about last week with bookending your days, because you've got those certain things you can do first thing in the morning, and then all of a sudden you're dealing with all the fires you've got to put out throughout the day, and you don't know what's going to end up getting done or what's not going to get done. I listen to a lot of different podcasts and books and whatnot. Actually, I think it was a book I was listening to this morning at the gym, Chet Holmes' book, and I believe it was in there that he was talking about it, that he makes his task list every morning, but he won't put more than 6 items on it. He'll put his 6 most important items that he has to accomplish that day, because otherwise, and I see this quite often with people I work with, is they'll put everything because they're more focused on that, that rush of checking something off. So it's like, maybe it's wake up, check, eat breakfast, check. And they're more worried about what can I check off my list than what is on that list. And I'm going to do whatever I have to get it done. And I know I'm going to have a productive day. Any other thoughts on that? Okay. Hey, Sheldon. We can see you.
Hey, just a thought that I've had. I've used several different systems, and I like the idea of the clock setting timers. I've done that in the past, and that's certainly helped keep you from running down those rabbit holes. What I've currently been doing that's been working with fairly good success is based off of the James Allen book, Getting Things Done. And I use the app Todoist, which helps me to keep all of my thoughts organized, but then also to prioritize specific tasks that I need to get done on specific dates. And then I simply look at the top, like you were saying, top 6, I look about the top 4 and make sure that I focus on those. And once those are completed, then I can go on and complete other tasks that are on that list, possibly that day or that I missed the day before.
One of the things in his book that I really like too is when he talks about handling items once, because there's so many things that we do that we shuffle through them 4 or 5 times before we actually take care of them. And there are things that maybe only take 5 minutes. And I use an app in my email called Boomerang, which I really find handy because I can, if I've got an email that I don't want to deal with right now, I can say, return in an hour, return in a day, return in a week, whatever I want. But at the same time, sometimes I find myself just keep doing it, keep putting it off. And what he teaches in that book is, deal with those things and get it out of the way, get it off of your mind, clear your mind, and be done with it. And I think that's one area that I could get better at is following what he teaches for that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I actually use quite a bit. I've got an inbox, which is similar to a mail inbox. And so any thoughts that I might have throughout the day from distractions I've had or things that I think, I need to do this, or this might be a good thing to assess or research, do more, thought into it. I'll record that thought real quickly. Everything goes to my inbox, and then once a week, typically on the weekend, on a Saturday or Sunday, I review that, and then I will prioritize that into my other folders that are specific with a specific date or just a to-do-ist at some point in time, depending on the urgency of it.
That's a great idea. I like that. Thanks, Sheldon. All right, any other thoughts or comments on that? Okay, what I would like to do, doing it a little earlier than I have in the past, just because it turned into a great conversation last week and we ended up running out of time, but I want to open it up. And are there any obstacles anyone's dealing with right now they'd like to talk about, or any subjects or anything that someone would like to bring up and just have a discussion as a group, or someone looking for any feedback on anything? I was actually hoping Bruce would be on the call tonight because I know he does some mindset coaching with some UFC fighters, and they were, if anyone follows that at all, there's a UFC fight in Houston this week, and he was there with his fighters, and I was hoping we could hear about that, but he's not on with us tonight, so we'll have to catch him on another time. But yeah, anything that you're dealing with that we want to discuss as a group, let's open that up.
I know that last week I'm the one that brought up this issue, but brought up an issue. So, but I do have something. Just I think it's more of an opinion versus anything else. But let's say that you have a business and you kind of feel like you're in this rut, but you're worried that if you stop doing anything or if you stop doing what you're doing, then you're just going to go back. Or you're just afraid to stop altogether, just to kind of take a time out, I guess you could call it, and take a breather and then go back in and regroup. And so what are your guys' thoughts about regrouping, I guess, or taking a time out in your business to try to make it grow better in the future? Does that make sense?
I guess it depends on what you're doing with that time off, you know. If you're just going, you know what, I just don't even want to think about it for a little while, like a vacation, that's one thing. Or if you are, spending that time delving into personal development, or what exactly do you mean by taking the time off?
Well, you actually answered it really well. I guess it just depends on what you're doing during that time. Um, I think that it's kind of, if you think of it as almost like basketball, I guess, I don't know, I can't think of anything else, where like you're this, even the stars, like your LeBrons, and I guess I should say LeBron because I feel like he can play a whole game, but just even the best players need a time to sit and regroup, I guess. And then, but how has anyone ever done that in their own business, and how has that affected their business overall by just taking a little bit of I don't know what, like, yeah, just like a timeout or a break, I guess you could say. Does that make sense? Because I feel like in my own business, I've kind of plateaued a lot, or I'm just having a really hard time. And I'm doing different stuff in my personal life for sure to change that. But I almost want to take a break from social media or talking, like doing those same things I've been doing every single day, talking to customers, to almost to regroup and approach my customers on social media in a different way. But am I going to lose all that momentum I've built up that I feel like I've plateaued at? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
Maybe not.
that's the one thing I'm thinking about as you talk about that is, if you're going to do that, what are the risks with your existing customers? Because I can see doing something if it's not going to jeopardize anything with existing customers, and kind of regrouping and how am I going to take the next step to expand. But if it's going to jeopardize some existing relationships, I'd be a little more careful about how you go about that. Or are there other ways to stay connected?
Yeah, I think that I guess for me it's been mostly more specifically I'm thinking about social media, because I'm on social media every day and I'm trying to connect with people, especially on Instagram. But I find that maybe for me, and I'm not I don't have a very good rate of conversion on Instagram, where I'm building connections, and it's a very useful tool to find connections. Like, for example, you, Jeff, we connected through Instagram, and there's lots of other connections, but I'm having a hard time transferring those connections and seeing the turnover into customers through it. And so I almost want to take a break from social media, come up with a new marketing plan of some sort, and then go back on. But am I just gonna, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna lose those people I have connected with, which are very important to me. Like, some are customers, but not there. I just don't have as many customers as I would have liked or would like.
I don't know Instagram at all. I've tried it, and I just, especially being a B2B business, my brain just can't wrap around how that would help me. But I think like in Facebook and LinkedIn, there's groups, right? Can you create a group where you draw all of your existing customers in and get them kind of talking to each other? And then you can maybe kind of like step back and moderate, and as opposed to constantly being the person who has to keep everybody entertained. Does that make sense?
Yes, I actually really like that a lot, because I do have a VIP Facebook group that I need to learn to utilize. And I really like the thought of funneling people into that group. And that's what I've been trying to do. But I love the tip of, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting trying to be the only one that creates the content that keeps people entertained or keeps people going. And so I really love learning tools and learning skills to have my customers do that for me. I love that. Thank you.
That's a great idea, Heidi, and I think that is something, Liz, that you could really take advantage of. One of the other things, as you're on the e-learning marketing system, there will be some things that you're going to be going through in the next few weeks that I think will spur some ideas too. And on our when we talk next week, we can go into more depth on this as well, because I think there are some things you can take advantage of. Do you currently, so you've got all the social media, do you have a website?
I do have a website. I don't think that I utilize it as much as I should. I actually, when I was on the e-marketing page today and looking or watching the video, I actually had I had some inspiration on how to revamp my website to make it more of to draw people to it better and to add more value to people through it,
Right.
rather than just talking about Zaya and the company, which I've been doing and showing clothes. I came up with 3 really good ways to add value to people's lives that don't necessarily have anything to do with Zaya as a company or even clothing, but it's a reason to draw people there to add value to their life. And I think that because there's hundreds and thousands of different MLM direct marketing, especially on social media, and it's so hard to stand out or make people, or not make, that's not the right word, but just have people trust you enough to want to go to your website. And one of the big points there was you have to add value. If you try just to compete on the price point, then that you'll never grow a customer following, right? And so that's what made me start thinking, okay, what's the best way to add value to people's lives? And for me, it's going to be my website, because I have more control over what people can see and that interaction and everything. So
Exactly. And one of the things we'll go through with that as well is when you can add value in that way by offering them more information, whether it's something with Zaya, something just with trends, or I mean, something like you've obviously got some ideas you're thinking about. When you can offer that as an information product, what you can create is a drip campaign. And what I mean by that is you're going to have people that will visit, whether it's Instagram or your website or whatever, that aren't ready to buy from you right now, aren't ready to do anything with you right now, but you want to stay connected with them so that when they do become a now buyer and they're ready to buy, that you've got that relationship with them. And so if you create something where you can add value and give them something and create a drip campaign where you can stay in touch with them when that time comes that they are looking. What was the saying on the front of that shirt you had on there today? That was a cool shirt.
are you talking the shirt that I had on today, or was it yesterday?
I don't remember. I can't remember. It just had a cool saying on it that I thought that's a cool saying.
Oh, I'm trying to think of which one, because I just had a plain white tee on today, and so
I think it was like
to...
rainbow. It was rainbow color. It looked like a 70s design type thing. But anyways, when they might, when it comes time and they're staying in touch with you, all of a sudden they see that and they're like, oh yeah, this is who I'm going to deal with. I know this person. I have a relationship with this person. I trust this person. They've been offering me this value for nothing in return. They're just helping me out with things. And I think that's where you're going to get some customers that maybe they're visiting you right now, but they're not going to be a customer right now, to make sure they're going to be a customer in the future.
Exactly. And I think it's just a matter of getting I think I can build trust with people by just offering value to their lives without expecting anything in return. And it's really hard when you're in the world of sales to have people trust you, not to expect anything from them. And I think with the 4 things that I came up with today, I think it's going to be a game changer. I just have to make sure I implement it in the right way so it doesn't um, fall flat. And I think you could even do that with any company that, or any business, is just find ways to add value for their lives that may or may not even have anything to do with the specific product you're trying to sell. So
Well,
Exactly.
Liz, your product is fitness clothes, right?
yes,
A-
activewear. Yeah.
And activewear, but and your goal with it is not just to sell the activewear, but to get other people selling it with you,
Exactly. Build up a team. Exactly.
right? And I mean, like, obviously, I actually went on after our call and looked at your site, and I read some of your. Did you write the blogs like about doing laundry and all that stuff? Did you write that yourself?
Yeah, that was all me. That was just random thoughts. And so I'm not
No,
a
I
professional
loved it
writer at
though.
all.
I want to tell you from just I absolutely loved it. I was laugh. I was like, yeah, and the way you led that to how to properly take care of your Zaya workout clothes. I honestly I think you're a talented writer. So I think the putting out things like what you have in those like those blog posts as Jeff was saying in your like the drip email campaign, but not necessarily related to Zai, just how to take care of workout clothes or the best kind of workout clothes or activewear to wear for certain situations, and make it kind of fun and funny, like you did, because I actually found your writing enjoyable. And so
Well,
it,
thank you so
and
much.
everybody, because it's like what I do, credit card processing and what have you, it's hard to make that fun or funny, but but the way you worded that, and especially the picture of the woman like that you have with that, it was hysterical. But if I got emails like that from somebody, and I was remotely thinking about doing it, I'd be going, this is somebody who'd be fun to work with, and yeah, I'm into fitness, and I like what they're um, but you're also educating along the way, so I would kind of keep up the thread of what your, I don't know if you call them blogs or whatever on your site are in an email campaign. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much. I love that. And I appreciate the compliments. That made me feel a lot better about posting all of that.
No, I think that's exactly what you need to be looking at, Liz. And just, I looked at it. It was the shirt that you had that said "Dream Big" on it.
Oh, yes, that's one of the, yeah, and yeah, that's one of our main Zaya shirts that we had this year. That's actually all sold out, and it was just a temporary thing, but I
Okay.
love that shirt.
So we've got, I'm gonna give you all the heads up right now. We've got about 3 minutes, and so I'm not being rude. I'm gonna cut you off when we get to that point so that we don't lose it at the end again.
Right.
But no, thanks, Liz. Appreciate you asking those questions, and Heidi for your comments on that, because I think it's very helpful. Does anyone have a 1-minute question? All right. Well, that's good. I would love to see, we didn't have a ton of people on tonight. I know Joseph was going to be on usually, but I know I left him and he was at a basketball game still in Queen Creek, so he's probably still watching basketball. And I know Liz and Joseph caught up with each other and talked some network marketing, so hopefully that was beneficial for both of you. But yeah, I think there are a lot of benefits here to keep getting people interacting with one another to help grow each other's businesses. So please, if you haven't, get on the Facebook group with us and comment on there on that post that we have about what you do, what your business is. And if you've got any questions or comments, put it in there. And it can be just like this question that Liz asked, and we can have the same conversations online, or we can put it off till the next time we're going to talk here. And future wise, if anyone does have things that they're thinking about throughout the week that they do want to talk about on these calls, go ahead and throw it on that Facebook group, and I'll make sure that that's one of the topics we discuss, and we'll go from there. But anyways, thank you for being on the call tonight, and thank you to those that are listening on the replay. I did put it out on the email, I think last week. I do have a new website up, along with my other ones that are still active, jeffhageecoaching.com. So if you have a chance, check that out. And we will stay in touch and talk to everyone soon. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Not all.